living costs increasing, side hustles have become the new norm. Research group BrandMapp says 43% of households with a monthly income of 10,000 Rand or more have a secondary income. 30% of their income comes from side hustles, such as running small businesses, home industries, and working at jobs that are completely different from their main work. So let's discuss the findings now with Director of Storytelling at BrandMapp. That's Brandon de Kock joining me this morning. Brandon, thank you so much for your time and good morning to you. These findings quite interesting, but I think that's probably where we are leading to. Multiple income streams per household. What have you found?
So, we've been doing this work for a long time. This is just the tax base, right? It's not the whole of South Africa. It's our study's representative of the 13 million adults living in households earning 10,000 Rand a month or more. So it's the tax base. It's the guys who are keeping the economic engine running in a way. And we've had the same result year on year. If anything, it's getting just 1 or 2% higher. So, effectively, what we're showing is that somewhere between a little bit of economic pressure. I personally think it's a lot to do with mistrust in the employment. I think so many people have lost jobs and have found jobs, and the market's pretty volatile out there. So it's a bit of a safety net. And then the third big reason why people are doing this, I think, is we live in a world where you don't have to do one thing anymore. Right. That's the real slasher, the spirit of the slasher. I can be an accountant / influencer / motivational speaker, and earn a little extra income at the same time.
Yeah. And which age group is kind of sort of leading the way when it comes to being slashers?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it's pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
It's everybody. Obviously, younger people, I think, we see a little bit more inclined, like maybe 2 or 3%, but it's not a massive difference. I think the difference possibly is that the way I think, I don't really have the actual data to prove this, but some of the research I've done around it seems to show that older people would probably be a little bit more into the employment or the income parachute idea, like protect myself a little. For younger people, it's definitely got more to do with a modern mindset. I'm a digital native. I can work remotely. I can do 3 jobs at once. And importantly, for younger people, I think it's about sort of developing more than one skill. If the slash is not just you doing it because it's fun, it's because you've got more than one thing that you're good at.
Right.
So what an amazing world we live in that allows you to do that.
Yeah. And the other reason why I'm asking, Brandon, is because we know, often traditional employers and moonlighting, these policies we find, in our contracts, HR often saying do not moonlight. You could risk, of course, losing your job or getting a disciplinary, hearing from that. So are you saying the slashers are not necessarily concerned about this, or they've found a way to negotiate those terms with the employers?
Well, I think it must be a combination of both. I mean, it's very, very hard as an employer. For example, let's just take the influencer. How do you stop somebody after hours having an Instagram account that brings in a couple of extra 1,000 Rand, even if it's in sponsorship? It's almost impossible. So, I think the idea, that's why the slash idea, remember, it specifically is not doing the same thing after hours that you do as a full-time job. It's something in and around that. And I also think that the working from home thing, so we see about 40% of this group of employed adults in South Africa right now working in a hybrid or remote environment in some way. And that's definitely encouraged people. It's a lot easier to have a side hustle when there's no boss looking after over your shoulder, And at the same time, I think that the people there's no doubt that people who are home-based work harder. So I actually think this could be a win-win. I think you've got people working in a hybrid environment who are over-delivering on their normal job. They're creating extra time where they can do something else, expand their skill set, keep themselves interested in the job market in many ways, and make a bit of extra cash. So I think it's probably a win-win. I don't think the corporate world's going to lose out at all.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if maybe your data was able to explain this, but with where we are currently with our economy, are we seeing more and more people saying this is one of the ways they're trying to cushion, themselves in their pockets with, the increases when it comes to diesel, with the cost of living being so high, the food basket constantly increases. Is this the only way South Africans are probably considering? That's, of course, getting multiple income streams.
I think it's not actually a point in the data, but certainly some of the anecdotal stuff we've done in the secondary research, just trying to work out, what's going on in people's heads.
Right.
There is no doubt that we're just all a little bit scared of the security value in our employment. I think if COVID taught us anything, it's that you don't know when the next comet's going to strike, and you have no idea how much it's going to affect your industry. So why not just have something that could, even if it's just a real side hustle, so like you're making some samosas on the side, like have something. And boy, if the rubber hits the road and you need to do something, you can leverage that up and you can maybe turn it into a business that will end up feeding your family. I think that's the spirit of it. I really feel there's a lot of protectionism going down. I just want to hedge my bets a little, keep the options open.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you in terms of COVID teaching us that tough lesson. And I appreciate you, of course, Brandon de Kock, making time for us and talking about this. That's, of course, Director of Storytelling at BrandMapp, Brandon de Kock, joining us this morning right here on the SA Morning.